Councilmember Cosarelli? Here. DePena?
Here.
Graziano?
Here.
And Mayor Melham.
Here.
Mayor and Council, the following council members, Notary, Rovell, and Strumberger, called in that they're not going to make the meeting tonight.
Are they calling in?
No, they called clerk's office that they're not going to make the meeting.
But none of them are calling in.
No calling.
No call in.
So we don't need that number. And we could probably turn the public one off here and put it there if you want. We don't get feedback. Sunshine, I'm sorry, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunshine.
Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, known as the Sunshine Law, notice of this meeting was published in the Thursday, December 22nd, 2020. Ready? Thursday, December 22nd, 2022 edition of the Belleville Times and Star Ledger. The Sunshine Law was complied with by adopting and forwarding to the press, posting and filing with the municipal clerk the annual resolution showing the date, time, and place of each regular meeting. A copy of the meeting agenda notice has been posted on the township website and also on the bulletin board.
Okay, everybody, I'd like to welcome you to our one and only meeting in August. Traditionally, we have 2 meetings a month. In July and August, there's only one. When we do have the 2 meetings a month, the first meeting of the month is always a work session / caucus, which is why you see that item listed on the agenda. This particular meeting, no council members or members of our administration have anything pressing to discuss. Therefore, you see nothing listed under item number 5. Therefore, I'm going to move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 6, report of the manager, who's here to my right, Mr. Iacono.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, it's been a month since we've met, so that we've been extremely busy. And I figured I'd give the council a good summary on some of the projects that we're presently working on during the course of the summer. First, we're about 50% complete with our Main Street flood remediation. This will help eliminate some of the flooding on Main Street. So this is a project that was an NJEDA project, and again, we're about 50% done on that. Washington Avenue streetscape, again, another NJEDA project. If you've noticed, right from Graylock all the way down to the Nutley border, the concrete and pavers have been installed. So it's actually a very nice, clean look. We may have the ability to extend past Graylock coming in this direction. So we feel like we may be able to pick up a couple more blocks. But if you haven't had a chance to see the new pavers and the concrete, it's a refreshing look. We had a street paving program of 17 streets. We're hoping to be, if not all completion, a good portion of that completed by the end of the year. And we still have various streets under milling and paving. Lead service replacement line, that's an NJAB. So the contractor is now on New Street. It's about 20% done, and that project continues. Valve, hydrant, and the exercising project, 90% complete. This is where we have, we're checking valves, we're checking hydrants. This gives us a updated inventory of which fire hydrants have to be replaced. So this is a very important project, and again, about 90% complete in the entire town. We are in the process of working with 2 grants, DOTs. One is the 2022-23 DOT project. This is on, we're completing the bid documents. This is for Harrison Street, the entire length. Belleville Avenue, Washington to Main, and Sanford Avenue, the entire length. Portland, William Street, and Washington to Dow. Again, that is being done with 22-23 DOT money. And we also have 22-23 Safe Street Transit money. And we're working on the bids, and those bid documents hopefully will be done in August. We could be out for bid in September, and that would still give us October, November, and December to complete that work. So tonight, as a footnote, we're pulling a lot of our bonds that actually pertain to street work. So, and certainly it's not meant for the council members that are here, but as you can see, not being here today and having to pull that is going to create some delays in some of our very important street projects. So obviously we're a little concerned with that. The last thing I have on my list, for the members of Mayor and Council, we do take meetings periodically for, obviously we have approved 4 retail licenses for cannabis. We have a resident cannabis company interested in manufacturing. It's a whole different animal than cannabis retail. It's in the Main Street section, which it's zoned for. It's specifically right on Cortlandt. So for members of the council, we have another 2 weeks for any questions, concerns, and I will probably put it on the next meeting's agenda for a possible vote. And that would be my report.
Any questions for the manager? Manager's report or anything else? No? Hearing none, seeing none. We'll move on. The next item on our agenda is the report of the mayor. So as I like to always do, I start with some past events. It's been about a month or so, summertime, so a lot of good events happening in Belleville. The police department did their second, I think, Pizza with a Cop at Algieri's Pizzeria in July. It was as good as the first one was. So congrats again to the police department for always reaching out to our community, and most certainly our children. July 29th, I was at the community garden for a pollinator demo, which was really interesting. Had a very nice turnout, so thank you, Green Team, and everybody else that was involved with that. August 1st, speaking of our police department's commitment to our community and our children, National Night Out Against Crime. It was a first of its kind. Usually National Night Out, we do block parties. Unfortunately, in the last 10, 15, 20 years ago when I was on the council, we had a whole bunch of block parties. We whittled it down to, not we, but the communities whittled it down to about 4 that are left. So the police department had an idea to do one central location, and they hit it out of the ballpark. It was an absolute great night. A lot of different people involved, from DPW to all the different community vendors and stuff like that. It was an absolute great night. I'm assuming it's going to continue even next year. Speaking of great events and huge turnouts, our biggest concert of the year was on August 3rd. We had Freestyle Night, something I think we take great pride in every week, July and August, when we do our concerts, to do a very eclectic lineup, all different genres of music. This was the first year we dabbled into freestyle for some reason. I'm not quite sure why it took us so long to get a freestyle concert, but from the turnout, it was an absolute amazing night, and I can definitely see freestyle coming back, if not a freestyle festival one day soon in our near future. August 7th was Purple Heart Day, so on the 8th, I joined the American Legion 105 for a brief Purple Heart ceremony. And Mr. Manager, they commented on the streetscape that was in front of the American Legion 105 that they absolutely loved, from the pavers to the concrete to the new plantings that are coming. This past Saturday, our green team had their compost workshop. I did not get a chance to be there, but I did see some of the photos. Please follow our green team, Belleville Municipal Green Team, to find out all the different events they do. Great composting workshop. I believe people that attended received a $20 or $30 composting piece of equipment. Bin. Yes, that's what it was. Okay, so some upcoming events. This coming Thursday, our summer entertainment continues with a summer concert, New Power Soul. If you know New Power Soul, they are a fun party band, high energy wedding band. They actually were here last year with us. They were a couple weeks ago in Belleville for Belleville Parks. Essex County brought us a concert. They crush it, so this coming Thursday, weather's looking good. Not trying to jinx it, but weather's looking good for this coming Thursday, New Power Soul. Next Thursday's Mush Mouth. Again, summer entertainment is gather at 6:30, bring a blanket, bring a chair. Music starts fresh at 7 o'clock. Mush Mouth is a mix of Bruce, Mick, and James Brown. The following Wednesday will be our second movie night. We do one movie night now in July, one movie night in August. So this on Wednesday, August 30th, will be Top Gun Maverick, something for the adults. You can certainly bring your children. Face painters will be there. That's Wednesday. And we end our summer entertainment the next day, which is Thursday, August 31st, with country music from Big Hicks, and we conclude the country concert with a firework demonstration. Looking fast forward, September 7th is going to be a passport day. Essex County Clerk's Office will be here. That's passports and notary service days. Real quick, some news. Last Friday, I did have the opportunity to represent the township in Essex County for Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver's viewing. It was a really amazing event. Unfortunately, our Lieutenant Governor had passed, and there was a huge delegation that was there to welcome her back to Essex County, and I was honored to not only be there, but to also represent the township for that viewing. You'll find out that if you check out our township website, all of our ordinances have been codified and up to date through June 30th. What does that mean? Every single council meeting, we pass different laws. Just to give you some perspective, when I got here, along with my colleagues that arrived in 2018, the township was 11 years behind codifying our ordinances, which meant if you went to the code that was available on the website, it was 11 years outdated. We immediately rectified that and brought it up to date for 11 years, but then it took a couple more years and we were still a couple years out of date. So I'm happy to announce the fine work of our clerk and our township attorney that we are now up to date, codified on the website through June 30th, and we will ongoingly be codified every 6 months. So anything gets passed today, within 6 months it'll hit the website. There's also a section on the website that talks about pending ordinances for codification, so everything would be there. Today, actually, I had a Zoom call. Manager did not mention this today in his manager report, but today I had a Zoom call with Hockey in New Jersey. If you remember, a couple years ago, before COVID, we had entertained Hockey in New Jersey as a nonprofit. Their goal is to outreach to communities like ours to get boys and girls, ages, I think it's like 10 to 18, pretty wide, to expose them to hockey. It's totally free. You don't purchase equipment. You don't have to rent ice time. It is a totally free program. It went very well. We had boys, we had girls. They loved it. Unfortunately, COVID happened, and they canceled the program and had to wait. Well, they're just getting it back up. I promised them I would set up a meeting between them and the manager this week or next week, and I would look forward to seeing some applications pushed out by our recreation department and on the township website and social media, along with mine, because that program is coming back for September. Children, youth of Belleville will have access to learn hockey, play hockey. Equipment is included, ice time is included in Montclair. It's going to be a great program. I'm actually glad it's back. Pickleball lessons are going great. We're sold out for our second double session is also sold out. Hopefully we're going to get more sessions available to you. And last but not least, fall registration for our arts and crafts is on the website. New instructor Anthony is Naomi.
We call her Miss Z for short. How do we pronounce it?
Got it. Okay, that concludes my manager's report. Next on the agenda is going to be the approval of minutes. We have the regular meeting of June 27th, 2023. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
A motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Manham.
Yes. Next, we have the meeting of July 11th, 2023.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Here.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Manham.
Yes. Next on our agenda, number 9, is communications. I forgot. Do I read them or you read them?
You read them, but you
I
want
can
to...
read them. Do you want to read them and I'll do the ordinances? Okay. Have you have them?
Communications, the clerk's office, you just mentioned this, the clerk's office informed the mayor and council that the revised general ordinances supplements have been updated through June 13, 2023, both on the website and hard copy binders. Every department heads have received a hard copy binder, and going forward, every 6 months we'll get supplements, and it's going to be the responsibilities of those department heads to maintain an updated binder. The Nolly Belleville Columbus Day and Italian Heritage Month Parade Committee, Inc. is having their traditional flag raising ceremony on October 8, 2023 at 9 a.m. in Belleville. The Silver Lake Civic Association will be celebrating their summer community event on Sunday, August 13 from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Friendly House on Frederick Street. Real Values Washington Avenue LLC is going before the zoning board on September 7, 2023. They are proposing to convert a 2 existing office space on the lower level of the building into a 1-bedroom apartment. There are a total of 8 apartment units, and the proposed conversion will increase to 10 units located at 449-451 Washington Avenue. The New Jersey Department of Transportation, the NJDOT, has announced that applications are now being accepted for the 2024 Safe Routes School Program. The Second Baptist Church is requesting during their 95th church anniversary on Saturday, September 9, 2023, that the following streets be closed: Academy Street between Cortlandt and Stephen Street from 12 to 6 p.m. That's all communication.
Okay, thank you. I did miss one event. It wasn't on our website, so I just remembered it. This coming Wednesday, the 16th, 1 o'clock, Ecuadorian flag raising right here at Belleville Town Hall. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is ordinances. We have ordinance 21-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for various improvements to sanitary sewer system in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $250,000 therefore and authorizing the issuance of $235,000 in bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof. Mr. Clerk.
The public hearing and consideration on the second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
This is kind of procedurally a little new for us, everybody. These ordinances are on for second reading. They're going to be pushed to the next meeting. Ordinance 22-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for various improvements to the water utility system in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $250,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $235,000 in bonds or notes of the Township of Belleville to finance costs thereof.
Public hearing and consideration on the second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at Township Building, Municipal Building at 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Next, ordinance 23-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for the 2023 road reconstruction and curb and sidewalk replacement program in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $1 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $264,000 in bonds or notes of the Township of Belleville to finance part thereof.
The public hearing and consideration on the second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Ordinance 24-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for the 2023 road reconstruction and curb and sidewalk replacement program in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $500,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $475,000 in bonds or notes of the Township of Belleville to finance part of the cost thereof.
The public hearing and consideration on the second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Ordinance 25-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for the improvements to municipal facilities in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $500,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $475,000 of bonds and notes of the Township of Belleville to finance part of the cost thereof.
The public hearing and consideration on the second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Ordinance 26-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for the 2023 road reconstruction and curb and sidewalk replacement program in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $3.3 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $2,610,000 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the construction thereof.
The public hearing and consideration on the second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Town Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Ordinance 27-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for the 2023 road reconstruction and curb and sidewalk replacement program in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $650,000 therefore and authorizing the issuance of $352,000 worth of bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the construction thereof.
The public hearing and consideration on a second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Ordinance 28-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for the 2023 road reconstruction and curb and sidewalk replacement program in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $2.750 million worth of, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,080,000 worth of bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the construction thereof.
The public hearing and consideration on a second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Ordinance 29-23, ordinance for possible adoption. A bond ordinance providing for the acquisition and improvement of real property located at 211 Washington Avenue in and by the Township of Belleville in the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $1 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $950,000 of bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the construction thereof.
The public hearing and consideration on a second reading are both being deferred to the public meeting of September 12, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Township Municipal Building, 152 Washington Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey.
Okay, so sorry about that, everybody. That was a little boring, but we have 5 or 6 or 7 different bond ordinances on. These are bond ordinances that we pass every single year to do the road improvement projects and infrastructure projects that you see every year. Those bond ordinances do take a minimum of 5 votes on the council, and because there's only 4 council members here today, we're going to take action on those at the very next meeting. Next ordinance for possible adoption is ordinance 30-23, an ordinance to amend salary ordinances creating personnel, positions, and adopting classification and compensation plans. I need a motion to open public hearing. We have a motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. So we're open for public hearing on this ordinance and this ordinance only. If you have a question about this ordinance, or I should say a comment about this ordinance, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Mr. Schultz.
Good evening, everyone. Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. It seems that the gist of this particular ordinance is the deletion of Municipal Disaster Control Director and replacing with the more modern titles of OEM Director and OEM Deputy Coordinator for $10,000 each. My understanding is that our OEM Director Coordinator is Mr. Corvo. I just wanted to confirm that that's still the case.
Yes.
All right. How many OEM deputy coordinators do we have?
2.
2. Okay. And who are those deputy coordinators?
Deputy Coordinator McAloon and myself.
Okay. And will both of you be receiving the $10,000?
No, I had every opportunity to receive the $10,000 under the current ordinance. I've always foregone the receiving the $10,000.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I had read through the latest directive from the OEM published last year, and it's very clear in the very first section that the OEM director is appointed by the governing body. It used to be the mayor was the person who appointed it, but it's now the entire body. But it also goes on to say that the OEM deputies are understood to be selected from the town employees, the salaried employees. And it also goes on to say that it's expected that those individuals selected by the OEM coordinator have the requisite training, skill set, experience to serve that capacity. So they're talking about people like police, fire,
So that
EMS.
you can make that comment later during public
I just
comment,
want
but
to
it's
know-
not a question on this ordinance. So you can ask that question, just wait for your public comment.
All right, well, it'll come during public comments. All right,
Anybody else
thank
for this ordinance and this ordinance only? No?
Motion to close, move for final adoption.
Second.
We have a motion made and second to close, move for final adoption. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Ordinance 3023 is adopted.
Ordinance 31-23, ordinance for possible adoption. An ordinance of the mayor and council of the township of Belleville in the county of Essex in the state of New Jersey establishing a new chapter 38 of the code of the township of Belleville entitled Nuisance Properties and regulating and establishing penalties for the excessive utilization of such services. A motion to open public commenting?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion made and second to open public commenting. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Mayor Melham?
Yes. So we're now open for public commenting on this ordinance and this ordinance only. If you have a question about this ordinance, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Mr. Frantantoni.
Good evening. What do we consider nuisance properties?
It's defined in the ordinance. That's why we're passing the ordinance. It's defined in there.
Can you tell me what it is?
That's why we have it out there. I can read it to you. I can't read it. I'll summarize it for you. There's a certain amount, depending on the size of the property, if there's a certain amount of violations or calls to that particular property for certain incidents in a 60-day period, they are then considered a nuisance property. So it depends on how large the property is, it depends on what the police or the construction code department, construction code department is called there for. And if they are called there more than a certain amount of times, the property is then given notice that they're considered a nuisance property, and then every violation thereafter could be brought to the municipal court.
Are illegal apartments considered nuisance properties?
Tell you, probably not.
But we already have an ordinance for illegal.
Yeah, we already have. You don't need to be a nuisance property to be, you don't need to violate this ordinance. All you have to do is be found once to do that, and you violated that ordinance.
But we're still not enforcing them.
I believe we do enforce it if somebody reports it and we find it.
Well, I reported one a few years ago.
Mr. Frantantoni, I need you to keep your comments on this ordinance. You could say that later during public comment.
Okay. All right. Just glad that they're not considered then under this ordinance. Illegal apartments, basement and attic apartments.
Right, we already have an ordinance for them. This is something different.
Good.
Anybody else for this ordinance only?
Good evening again, Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. Just to address what Mr. Frantantoni asked, so that everyone in the audience and watching at home understands, this ordinance essentially deals with the number of complaint phone calls received by the town hall, and you do enumerate on page 3 of this ordinance what constitutes a qualifying phone call. So if I'd like, just for the record, for everyone's edification, just to read this, qualifying calls include the sale, service, or consumption of alcoholic beverages. B, disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, littering, or excessive noise. C, damage to property or injury to a person. D, improperly parking a vehicle or any other motor vehicle violation on private property. E, possession of a barking, howling, biting, or dangerous animal. F, possession, distribution, or use of a controlled substance. G, prostitution. H, public urination, defecation, or indecent exposure. I, criminal activity. J, false burglar, fire, holdup, duress, panic, robbery, alarm, as per Chapter 3 of Section 33.3. And K, activities specifically determined to be qualifying by the municipal judge. So those are the categories that would constitute a qualifying phone call. One thing I wanted to ask here is, what redress does a resident have should they be a victim of swatting? Swatting is when somebody spoofs your phone number and causes the police or fire department or EMS to improperly come to your home. Now, some people may say, well, when is that going to happen? I've had it happen to myself, being somewhat of a visible member of our community and often...
Mr. Sheldon, you could ask that question during public comment.
Well,
It's not in this ordinance. It's not in this ordinance.
You don't have any contingency here to deal with
Spoofing
swatting.
of
So
your
you would have to
phone.
deal with separate litigation and deal
I'm
with...
assuming so.
All right, well, that's just something that you might want to include if you do amend this. what contingencies would exist, so that residents aren't unnecessarily burdened with the financial costs if they're hit with all of with these calls
Mr.
when they're
Sheldon,
not
I
at
already
fault.
told you it's not in this ordinance, so you can't speak on this right now. You can mention this during public commenting later if you like.
All right, well, it's just something that might come up in the near future. All right.
I hope
The
you
other
bring it up
thing-
during public commenting.
The other thing that I do want to point out here, on page 4, you do list the threshold, the number of complaint qualifying calls in a 60-day period. And this is 38.5, and it's broken down into 5 sections. For residential properties consisting of 1 through 4 dwellings, they can have 8 qualifying calls in a 60-day period before they get to that penalty threshold. For multifamily dwelling and hotel.
Mr. Sheldon,
Yes.
these aren't questions.
You're reading
You're
the
reading the ordinance.
Yes.
Everybody, it's been published, the clerk takes very good, everybody's happy that the clerk posts them on the bulletin board. There's no need, this is for questions and comments regarding the ordinance, not reading the ordinance.
Mr. Martino, Chapter 40A, 2-17, the process for adoption of
Then if
ordinance.
it passes and
And
you
the
want to
citizen has
challenge
the right to
it
comment.
because
It doesn't
I'm
say
cutting you
questions.
off, then do it.
It says every resident has the right to comment. It doesn't say to ask questions alone.
No, it doesn't, but you're not commenting, you're reading the ordinance.
Well,
If you want to challenge me, then you could sue the town if we pass it and you believe it was passed
I'll
improperly.
skip to my
But we're
comment.
not going to sit here and listen to you read the ordinance.
I will skip to my comment then. You're allowing residential structures to have up to 8 qualifying calls in a 60-day period before they're in penalty of this new ordinance.
1 to 4 residential structures.
1 to 4, right, 1 to 4.
And there's
dwelling
other
units.
residential structures within the ordinance.
Right, and I would have gotten to that if you had given me a few extra seconds to read what those are. But one of the things that, the other category here is restaurants, bars, and adult establishments. They get 30 qualifying calls. Why are you giving a bar, we've already had in the last couple months, a number of residents come here to complain about the excessive amount of noise being generated by some of the new restaurants and bars in this township. Why are you giving those restaurants such a high threshold? You're giving a homeowner only 8, but you're giving a bar 30. So you're giving people who have much more resources, potentially ties to this town hall, an opportunity to escape penalties, and I don't think that's fair. I think that you should, 30 seems to be excessive accommodation to some of the worst offenders here. You should reduce this to a more reasonable number. 30 is basically, that's one call every 2
You made a
days.
misstatement, Mr. Sheldon, where you said they escape penalty. The police department goes on a call, they can still issue a ticket for excessive call once. It's just they become a nuisance after 30. It's not that they're beating anybody, they're getting past on anybody, they're getting over anybody. The police department can still issue a ticket on the first call. This is a nuisance ordinance. It's not an ordinance about issuing a violation. We can categorize them as a nuisance after X amount of times.
Whether they're, understand something, this is also whether or not there is even a charge for it. So they could get called and find that there is no violation, but it still qualifies as a call. So there's, the standard's a lot lower for this, which is why you have 30 calls versus something less. That's why. That's the idea.
So
It's not about convictions. They don't have to be convicted of what they're being called there for, right? So it's just the call. Because a lot of times, let's face it, the township gets calls, the police department gets calls, and it's unfounded. Or they can't really charge because they don't have the basis to do it.
Right.
But they had to send a car there, or they had to send in, somebody had to send an inspector for garbage violations, or one of these other ones that we talk about. So it's not about conviction, it's about just manpower being used because of the type of business it is.
So that the calls could either come into the police department, the town manager's office, or any office in this building, that would qualify as a call towards that threshold?
No, I believe.
Or does it have to go to a specific office to qualify
Well,
towards that count?
Well, based on, you read them here tonight, so generally, any of those calls are going to be directed to the police department or possibly code
Fire.
enforcement or fire.
Or ambulance.
So if it goes into the manager's office, the manager's gonna direct it to the department that handles the call,
Right.
police department. But generally, if you look at them, you've read them into the record, most of them are gonna go to the police department. So,
And all those calls will be logged and they'll become.
they're logged already, which is how we determined, we reviewed them, and how we determined, you know, because there's a lot of work, once it's done, for the departments themselves. So, you know, nobody wants to have a nuisance property, right? I mean, you don't want a nuisance property. You want to prevent nuisance properties, which is why this ordinance would be in place. And hopefully, you know, the real offenders, we all know what they are, will get the message and start to control their, you know, what's under their roof.
Let's hope. Because if someone were to use the township website's report a concern system, would that also constitute a call, or does it actually have to involve a phone or a smartphone?
If it fits one of these items that are listed, yes, but if you're using report of concern, it's not much of a concern because it's not immediate. Most of these things are things that you would think are something somebody wants addressed immediately. So you're not going to file it on the website on a Saturday afternoon when somebody's not going to see it until Monday, right? You're going to, if there's prostitution or if there's something going on, anybody's going to call the police department or the fire department if it's one of theirs or something along those lines.
And these logs will be operable, or is this?
Well, you know it's operable, so yeah, those logs are always operable
Right.
because, you know,
Just make sure.
all logs
Right.
are operable, so.
In general, I highly approve of what you're doing here, but I do have a couple of concerns which I just tried to enunciate, so
Thank
I appreciate what you're doing with this.
Anybody else for this ordinance only? Seeing none, hearing none, entertaining motion to close and move for final adoption.
Motion.
Second?
We have a motion made and second to close and move for final adoption. Clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. I'll also add that during one of our work sessions, very recently, we had a whole big discussion on this particular ordinance. As we normally do before we pass or create a new ordinance, there was a whole conversation at a prior work session about this particular ordinance. Next item on our agenda, we're moving now to just ordinances for introduction. Ordinance 32-23, ordinance for introduction. An ordinance amending Chapter 29 of the Township Code, Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, to add Chapter 29, Section 4, at 14, privately owned salt storage. Need a motion to introduce.
Motion.
We have a motion made and second to introduce. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. Ordinance 33-23, ordinance for introduction, an ordinance deleting and replacing in its entirety Chapter 4, Article 23, massage, spelled wrong, therapist, massage technician, or masseur of the revised ordinance of the Township of Belleville with a new Chapter 4, Article 23, entitled Massage, Bodywork, and Somatic Therapy. Need a motion to introduce.
Motion.
Second?
Motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. Ordinance 34-23, ordinance for introduction, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the Township of Belleville, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, establishing a new Chapter 39 of the Code of the Township of Belleville entitled Rental Property, Short-Term, by establishing the rules and regulations for short-term rentals of private residences to visitors. Need a motion to introduce.
Motion.
I have a motion made and second to introduce. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. Ordinance 35-23, ordinance for introduction, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 3 Police Regulations, Article 49, roller skates, inline skates, skateboards, bicycles, and electric scooters, dirt bikes, and all terrain vehicles.
Train.
I understand. I'm reading it though.
Yeah.
Terrain vehicles. I need a motion to introduce.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. Before we move on to public commenting, I just want to back up 1 second. ordinances 30-23, 31-23. Those two ordinances we had a public hearing on. I just want to ask if there's anybody on the phone for those public hearings. I think so. Hearing none, we will move forward. I need a motion. We're at number 11 if you're following. Section 11, number 11, public commenting. Need a motion to introduce. I'm sorry,
Open. Second.
We have a motion made and second to open public commenting. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes, we are now open for public commenting. Here, where residents get 5 minutes to speak on what we all hope is township-related business. I'm just going to ask you to please raise your hand once I call. You can come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Anybody? Mr. Frank Antoni.
Yeah, I see that Washington Avenue is all marked up with water and gas and electric lines. What's that for?
That would be the state road improvement program that we've been talking about for many years now. The state's finally ready to start doing it. The $14 million upgrade.
All right, now, I asked at a previous meeting, and I was told that the state's not doing that. Where I was at the meeting 7, 8 years ago, and about 5 years ago, I have the maps and the color photos that they're going to be doing. So the state is doing the sidewalks? And
No one, you never asked about sidewalks, no one here said anything about sidewalks. It's the road improvement project, it's the road.
only the road?
They are doing certain corners, for bump outs, so yes, they will touch sidewalks in certain areas for bump outs and such, but predominantly it's just the road improvement project.
So those photos, I brought it to one meeting, I'll bring it to the next meeting, that the state, right here in this room, showed us what they were going to do. Now you're telling us the state isn't doing that work.
So Mr. Frantantoni, all I'm telling you is I've been here for 5 years. For 5 years, we've been waiting for this project. The state was here in the 5 years I've been here to show us exactly what they're doing, and I don't recall anything but sidewalks. That may be prior to me, that may be a different version of the project, but the project that we're getting is a $12 to $14 million upgrade of Washington Avenue Street and traffic signals and curb bump outs.
No sidewalks. All right, well, once again, Mr. Mayor, you're charging me and the other homeowners with the cost of another lawsuit. I see now you're suing our new town clerk for an Oprah request and all this. I mean, you're the one that said in one meeting we have no lawsuits. Number one, you cost us $125,000 to $150,000 with what the judge, I believe her name is Hayden, called your case a frivolous lawsuit. And we were supposed to get reimbursed $125 to $150 from you.
None of that is true, by the way.
Until conveniently the former town manager, Mr. Tucci, at a public meeting, changed the attorney who was winning against you for 4 years. Publicly, I asked the council who did it, nobody would answer me, and he finally publicly admitted, I'm the one who changed attorneys. So we didn't collect the $125,000 that you cost the township for a frivolous lawsuit. You got another lawsuit that you instigated with the town construction code official, which we're going to pay all those legal fees. You got
I
another
don't believe
one.
I institute, Mr. I have to stop you, Mr. I'm going to pause your time because I can't let you just repeat lies. No judge ever called it frivolous. No judge ever ordered me to pay any money, and I don't recall any attorney being changed, and I did not sue the construction code official. None of what you said is true just now.
That just a frivolous lawsuit. I have a copy of the transcript of that trial. I'll bring it into the next meeting.
There was never a
The
trial,
judge
so
said,
I don't know what you have, but
well, I have the whole thick printout of that thing there. The other thing is, you understand, we have a lawsuit with the Soho property. All right? What's the status of that? And what's the reason for that?
Why they sued us, yeah, I'm not sure that it's actually been filed yet. They don't have a CO because our code enforcement officer went out and decided they built the building not to the plans, and he issued a letter and told them that to come back before the planning board in order to get a CO. They're not happy with that. It's nothing to do with me, Mr. Frantantoni.
So we have all these. And finally, this was put under the windshield of my car a couple of months ago. You got a picture of your crew, members of the Belleville organization. I'm looking at them, and already more than half of them are already on the town payroll. So is this what Better Belleville is all about? I'm sure it's Better Belleville for them and all that. And we got to stop.
I do need you to wrap up, Mr. Frantantoni.
Yeah, we got to stop this stuff. The taxes are too high. We're getting all this state aid. Between you getting state aid, the Board of Education aid, our taxes still go up. And
Thank you, sir. This year
keep
they went up
putting-
$88 this
Keep
year.
putting your friends on the payroll.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Tax increase this year was $88, everybody.
Should have come down to 88.
Good evening again, Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. During the manager's report, Mr. Iacono said that fire hydrants are being inspected and those that aren't working will be repaired. Is this a major concern? Do we have a large number of fire hydrants that are out of commission? You can answer that later on, but we all saw the horror in Hawaii, and during that fire, it turned out that many of the fire hydrants, for various reasons, were not serviceable, and that may have led to the loss of $5 billion in property, and now 100 or more people have died in that fire. Several weeks ago, I mentioned how the paving of Little Street between DeWitt and Linden was substandard. Every 30 feet or so, there was an undulation, and you could actually see the depressions in the roadway. I noticed that within the last week, all of those depressions, all those points of concavity have been marked now. So is there a plan? In my opinion, you should hold the paver contractor responsible and have him redo that section of the street. Those dips are so bad that you can almost start to lose control of your car. It's not just a little inconvenience. These are public safety concerns, and that problem, I hope that the solution here isn't that wherever there's a depression, they're going to throw a bunch of extra asphalt, and so now, instead of having concavities, you're going to have convex locations, and now you'll just be bumping upward instead of going through those low points. But you can address that. Next thing, I brought this to your attention, I haven't gotten any response. The zoning map that is on the township website at this moment has no street names. It's just lines and colors. It makes the map useless. There is no way anybody who has an interest in reviewing the zoning is going to make heads or tails out of this map. In fact, I found all the statutes where municipalities submitting their maps to county and state officials must include street names. Now, I'm going to assume this is an oversight on your part, but this is something that needs to be remediated immediately. I dare you to find one other municipality and anywhere in the state where their zoning map doesn't have street names. I couldn't find it. So what gives here? Why do you have a zoning map without street names? You've got to get the planning board and CME to fix this. The next thing I want to mention here, the OEM situation, as I was saying during the public hearing for the ordinance. It's very clear based on the directives from the OEM that even the deputy OEM coordinators are supposed to have the necessary training, background, experience to serve in those capacities, and they even cite things like the OEM director should be recruiting from amongst the fire department, the police department, EMS, etc. People that have the firefighting skills, the public safety skills. So I have to ask, why are you, Mr. Mellum, occupying one of those critical roles? As far as I know, you've never been a police officer, you've never been in a fire department, you've never been an EMS person, but yet you're occupying one of these roles. And on top of it, apparently because you're now the deputy OEM coordinator, you have now helped yourself to using one of the township vehicles which has been reported to me. I have, the number of people watch your every move, not me. I have more important things to do, but I've gotten lots of
Doubt that.
photographs. I've got lots of photographs.
Seriously doubt that.
I monitor your, but I just would like to know why you in your hubris have one of the OEM slots when it should be going to either another police officer, or fire department member, someone who has the requisite prior training to properly serve in that role. And since I have only a minute left, I want to follow up what Mr. Frantantoni said about the frivolous lawsuit. In November 2019, your suit that was against Mr. Esposito in the township of Belleville was declared frivolous by Judge Catherine Hayden. She was going to impose Rule 11 sanctions against you. George Freno's firm had litigated against you for 4 years. But then, the following year, just as we were getting to January, Judge Hayden gave you a 30-day, your counsel and Freno's counsel, to give the final rulings to her before she passed the Rule 11 sanctions. Mr. Tucci got rid of the Freno firm. He admitted that during the April 2019 council meeting, and he replaced it with some other guy named Del Sardo. So then the whole litigation matter went into radio silence. At the end of June of 2019, the original judge in the matter, Kathleen Waldor, suddenly came back in. She overruled Judge Hayden and said that Judge Hayden had misinterpreted Rule 11 procedures.
You need to wrap up, Mr. Jones.
And then throughout the whole lawsuit, dismissed it. But as George Freno pointed out in April of 2018, at that time, his firm's cost of litigating against you, which was at that time declared a frivolous lawsuit, had cost Belleville residents at least $150,000.
Okay, time is up, Mr. Jones, thank you. Anybody else in public comment? Okay?
Hi guys, Robin Caputo. I don't live in Belleville anymore, but I've lived in Belleville since 1978.
You have your first
Name and address, still
Robin
needed.
Caputo. My address now
Yeah.
is 18 Crane Avenue in West Caldwell, but I still do TNR in Belleville. I still come to a lot of events. I was at the Freestyle Night. I hang out in Belleville all the time. So can I pass these out to you guys? So you can just kind of look. I don't want to read the entire thing.
Just spell your last name.
So I'm here tonight because we're looking for support.
Spell your last name.
Oh, sorry.
C-A-P-U-T-O.
C-A-P-U-T-O.
It's Italian name. Get you all the time.
And it's phonetically spelled. Okay, so I'm here tonight to speak to you guys about, and I know you already support TNR, you already,
I want to be clear to anybody else that's in
Yes,
the room.
you
We
absolutely
support it.
do.
We overly support it. We have an ordinance.
Yes,
Councilman
we have
Cosarelli
an
and I attend
ordinance.
fundraisers. I
Yes.
give money to teach,
Yes.
I do it all.
yes, but what we're looking for is the community to also embrace it, because we have so many people calling on a daily basis. They either call the town hall, they call one of us, and they're complaining, please get these cats out of here. We don't want cats over here. Please don't feed the cats on our property. I understand about the property issue. If it's not your property and the person doesn't want to be, I get it. But if we get rid of the cats that are here now, more are gonna move in. And Belleville already has a mice/rat problem, as does, Bloomfield, Nutley. It's a lot of construction going on. I think that might be part of the reason. And I know you guys are supportive. We just don't know how to get support from the community for this. Instead of them calling to complain, that's pretty much what they do. And we can't keep taking the cats from Belleville and paying for them to go to sanctuaries. More cats are moving in. People are still complaining. So we're kind of trying to look. So this paper is called the vacuum effect. And all it really does is explain that when you remove cats from an area, new cats will move in. And I brought Len again, Len Twist. He was here to helped us talk to you guys to have you change the ordinance so that people were allowed to feed the cats in Belleville, and they have been doing it. People try so hard to follow
You have
the
that
rules.
ordinance in place. As long
Yes,
as
I
they-
know you do,
as
and
long
we're
as they-
still doing TNR, and people are just complaining, like they don't want us on their property. We want to fix the cats, you don't have them screaming in the middle of the night, and I know you guys get it. We're just looking for guidance, like how can we get it out there to the public the knowledge, so that they
There
know.
is an organization, correct?
Yes, well, it's Belleville TNR.
Right. I mean, public events, I mean, I'm not quite sure what the...
Maybe we could put on the website, put this on the website?
Yeah, I mean.
So just so you know, I get it from
I know.
every side. If I could show you my direct messages, my social media,
I know,
I
and I've
have
heard
been
from a couple
persecuted
people
and
that they've
abused by
not been
members of this
nice.
community.
Yes.
When I am the first one to donate, I'm the first one to attend events, we're the first one to fund it every single year. I was public enemy number one to many members of this community, and I don't understand why. But it is what it is.
Exactly.
I don't know how to help you
Yeah.
get your word out, but attend community events, hand out literature, fundraisers. I know-
Okay, well, and I also
attend.
brought Len. He's gonna just talk a little bit more about it. I know there's only a few people here tonight, but maybe people will like share with their friends and stuff so that.
I mean, I'm not sure this is the venue. but
Knowledge
he-
is
he can
power.
speak if he wants, but if he's gonna
He'll
say the
just
same
be-
thing.
He'll just
he's-
be, no, he's
Okay.
gonna talk about maybe something different, but still about cats. Crazy cat people, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Len Twist. I reside at 20 South Midland Avenue, Kearney, New Jersey. I remember Mr. Cosarelli from when I was here. Was that 2017? I helped
Yeah, I'm
with
still
their TNR. And I'm very excited that you folks embraced the TNR program and are on board with all of it.
Feel free to spread the word that we embrace the community. I don't think the community knows
No,
that.
you're on my list. When I go down South Jersey and speak to town council, who's been doing it since 2014 now. And you're on my list of successes, so speak highly of you all the way down here. This is some literature from Alley Cat Allies explaining what the vacuum effect is. Some people aren't familiar with what the vacuum effect even means. I can give you a really great example that everyone follows in every day's newspaper and on TV. You got some drug neighborhoods in the area. Everyone knows it, and we know where they are. Cops come in, sweep up the gangs, get them out of there. Now there's a void. But everyone knows that are purchasing drugs where they used to go, a new crowd moves in. It's the same with cats. Cats leave a calling card, so to speak. Once we've TNR'd them, they have a colony, and over a period of 5 years, they diminish down to nothing. I closed out 4 colonies in the last 5 years. And haven't returned. Resources dried up, and there's just no more cats there. So it takes time and patience on the residents' part. We try to work with conflict resolution. We ask, the residents that please bear with us here. We're working at it. It's not an overnight fix. There's no instant coffee when it comes to cats. It's all time takes time. I do know you got some, people that have an issue with it, the Woodlands. You've got some other places down here on Main Street. I just drove by there a few weeks ago. I watched them.
Shoot is a new
I know
one.
time.
No, I'm just saying Drama Shoot is also another one. That's a new one.
Yeah, the hot spots, I got hot spots in Kearney still. People that row houses, they got cats in the yard. Okay, well, I gotta bring a trap through. You can't come through my house. What am I gonna bring a helicopter and drop that damn trap in your yard? It's like a catch-22 situation. But we try to work very hard with the residents. Kearney's been successful now for about 10 years. And the ordinance is written, which people pretty much plagiarized, which is okay with us. I'm not saying, and so is most of the other communities, Marlboro, Old Bridge, East Brunswick, they've all taken Kearney's ordinance and pretty much just changed the name at the top of the page. We work with the residents. We do our best. I've gone out and bought scarecrows to keep cats out of some yard, try to make somebody else's yard a little more attractive by putting in a mulch box. They like to eat in one place and poop in another. I do the same thing. I eat in the kitchen and then start in bed. But cats are no different. And we want to try and work with the residents. And all we're asking is if we can get the word out. I spread it every time I can get a chance. If you as the town leaders put it out there, they're going to listen to you, Mayor. Have a lot of clout in this town, and people really respect you. I've talked to our mayor in Cornwall, our ex-mayor, he's now a judge. You're very well respected throughout the area, both Hudson and Essex County, and people will listen. If we can get the word to the right people.
If you can help us in any way, if you can
Anything
give
I
us...
can do to help you, I'm here.
If you guys have any kind of graphics, infographics, anything that the township can share on our website or social media, forward that to the town manager, and we'll make sure we get up on our website and social media. And then we can all share from there.
All right, any help I can give in the future, feel free to call me. I'll give you my business card.
Sure.
Would you like one?
Anthony, can you give him your business card? If you could email the manager maybe some infographics or graphics, that would play well on social media, we can definitely post and share that.
Very good.
Take them.
Okay, anybody else?
Good evening, Carmela Flesh, May 33 Main Street. First of all, the buildings next to Arbor Hills are coming down fast. They're not wasting any time. They're already breaking down to the foundation within like 2 weeks, which is good. I know we've had a back and forth discussion with the state with the lovely garbage on Route 21 Main Street. I'm going to email them again because they still don't know the meaning of the word clean. It's gotten better, but they still, so now since they put up the lovely fence, so half of the garbage now is on Main, half of it's on 21. Who's responsible for what? You're laughing, you. So again, serious question, who's responsible for what? Because again, the fence is an absolute joke. It's, you know, crooked and things like that. They didn't clean before they put the fence down. I'm surprised they didn't push all of the garbage onto me and then turn around to the town and go, okay, now it's on your side of the fence, you guys get to clean it. So it's literally half and half. So I'm going to include, on my next email, I'm going to include the mayor of Nutley, because again, I understand it's Main Street, but then it goes across into River Road, and you know, it's disgraceful. It's a laughing stock, because the state is not taking 21 seriously, and you know, I'm going to email them daily if that has to. You know, y'all know how annoying I can be. Come on. No. I call it what I am. I'm annoying. I embrace the annoyance, it's fine. So like I said, so if anyone can seriously answer what lies the garbage?
I cannot. But we could ask that question tomorrow when we email our friend.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm on all those emails.
I know.
Anybody else? Public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close and just close. And not remove final adoption. We have a motion made to close, and a second. We have a motion made and second to close. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. We are on the consent agenda. I'm good. I believe so, unless something changed last minute.
No.
Sure you didn't slip anything in on us. Good. I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion for the consent agenda.
Second. Motion for the consent agenda. Motion made, I heard it. I heard a second. Clerk, call the roll for the consent agenda.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. Now we have new business. Some of the new business isn't that new. It was on the agenda as of Friday. So I'm going to take a motion for let's do them one at a time. Take a motion for the first one, for resolution 212-2023.
Second.
Motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Abstain. Resolution 213-2023. Need a motion?
Second.
Motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Mayor Melham?
Yes.
We'll do the next resolution.
Yeah, I was going to do that. So congratulations to Ms. Gabby Bennett-Meany for her proclamation approval that was just passed. Now it goes off.
My time.
I'm going to have the deputy mayor come on down for a formal proclamation presentation.
You want to do the next resolution? Or
Yeah, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, we can skip that. I need a motion for Resolution 214-2023.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll for that one.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes. Now we're going to go for
Now
the
we
official
got it.
proclamation presentation of Ms. Gabby Benemini, our green.
Wearing green tonight, and she's
Our
wearing
green
green.
czar.
So she was tipped off that she's getting this. Let me do it in the microphone, and then I'll.
Microphone down there.
No, it's too tall for me. All right, so everyone knows Miss Gabby Benemini. Gab, if you want to come and stand up over here, spotlight, in the spotlight. Whereas Gabrielle Benemini is the coordinator of the Belleville Green Team, Vice President of the Board of Education, and Senior Natural Resource Specialist, Open Space Manager Specialist. Whereas Gabby has been a resident of Belleville with her family for 32 years, graduated from Montclair State with a BA in English and a Master's in Environmental Science Management. In Gabby's free time, she is currently a volunteer with the Belleville Women's Club, Belleville Historic Preservation Commission, a member of the Belleville Zoning Board, and the Municipal Green Team. I think it's easier if we name stuff you're not on.
That is her free time, or that's what she does in her free time?
Yeah, exactly. She has also served as president of the HSA of 3 Belleville schools, the elementary school 3, middle school and high school, whereas a connection between the high school science club and Township of Belleville Green Team was formed with the help of Gabby, where they have partnered together in creating different events for days such as Earth Day, Arbor Day, National Trail Day. Gabby and the Belleville Green Team, while working with the high school science department, have established water quality monitoring programs and stream cleanups. These programs have enabled the Township of Belleville and Belleville Public Schools to receive a total of over $40,000 in Sustainable New Jersey grants. Gabby's nonstop efforts have helped the community involved in multiple projects such as Belleville Creative Team and designated Township Artists for Murals, pedestrian safety demonstration projects, community pocket parks, and many others. Whereas the Township of Belleville achieved a bronze level Sustainable Jersey certification in 2020 and 2022, thanks to all the projects, community education, and outreach that Gabby has implemented, along with her other volunteers with the support of the Mayor and Council. Whereas Gabrielle Benemini has been recognized as the Sustainability Hero for the month of July by the State Sustainable New Jersey. Gabby is a strong asset to the Belleville community and is trying to make it better every chance she gets, while also getting others to lend a hand. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Township of Belleville honor Gabrielle for all her dedication and hard work. We thank and support her present and future endeavors.
Our green hero, in green. She's like a superhero, a super green hero.
Gabby's going to say a little speech here.
Little few words, Gab?
Yes, she is. She doesn't like doing that. That's why she's
Few words.
Thank you, and thank you to the Mayor and Council, because I really couldn't do it without their support, and it is the Municipal Green Team, so I couldn't do it without the members of our municipal committees, which would include the DPW. Bobby Walter has already left, but he is very supportive of everything we do. We couldn't do it without him and his team. Chief Minikini and their team, our fire department, zoning and planning. You know, most people don't realize that sustainability is part of everything we do in every department. And then there are our resident volunteers, and we really couldn't do it without them. So I want to thank every single volunteer that we have that's always helping us out there when we're doing these great things for the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Gab. I think that's it, boys and girls. We're going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion made in second. Clerk, call the roll.
All in favor?
All in favor? Any abstentions? No. We are adjourned, everybody. See you in September.